In the quiet little town of Starhaven, where the night sky glittered more brilliantly than anywhere else on Earth, there lived a curious boy named Niko Dreamer. Now, Niko wasn't like other kids. He didn't just have dreams, he collected them. Tucked safely under his pillow, he kept a little dream journal, its pages filled with his own drawings of flying whales, fluffy candy clouds, and grand castles made entirely of books.
Ho, ho, ho!
But lately, his dreams had vanished every night. When he closed his eyes, all he saw was darkness, nothing, an empty void. "I miss my dreams," he'd whisper into the silent night. One rainy afternoon, Niko decided to explore his grandpa's old attic. It was a dusty, forgotten world of ticking clocks, mysterious trunks, and gadgets from a bygone era.
Ho, ho, ho!
As lightning flashed outside, illuminating the room in a sudden burst of light, his eyes caught something strange peeking out from under an old blanket. It was a large brass machine covered in buttons, gears, and a tiny, dark screen. Carved into its side were the words, "The Dream Machine, handle with imagination." "Oh, what are you?" Niko whispered, his voice filled with awe. Taped to its side was a small, aged note. The handwriting was elegant, loopy.
Ho, ho, ho!
It read, "For dreamers who've lost their way. Turn the dial to sleep and find what your heart forgot." A wide grin spread across Niko's face. "A machine that makes dreams. This I have to try." With a surge of excitement, Niko pulled a large lever on the side of the machine. It buzzed to life with a soft hum. Gears began to turn, lights spun in a dizzying dance, and a warm, golden glow filled the dusty attic.
Ho, ho, ho!
He climbed into his bed, his heart thumping, and pressed the button labeled "Start Dream." He whispered into the air, "Take me to the land of dreams." Whoosh! A rush of vibrant color swirled around him, and suddenly, Niko wasn't in his room anymore. He was floating weightless through a sky filled with glowing stars and drifting clouds shaped like friendly animals.
Ho, ho, ho!
He laughed, a pure, joyful sound, as he twirled through the air and luminous dream birds flew past him in a shimmering streak. It worked. He shouted to the cosmos, "I'm dreaming again." Just then, a gentle voice called out from behind him, "Hello, dream traveler." Niko turned to see a magnificent blue fox, glowing with a soft, ethereal light. It wore a tiny top hat and a scarf woven from pure starlight. Niko, completely in awe, could only stammer, Who are you?"
Ho, ho, ho!
The fox gave a graceful bow. "I am Lumen, the dream guide. I help travelers like you find what they've lost inside their dreams." "I just want to dream again," Niko confessed. "I stopped, and I don't know why." Lumen nodded with a wise, knowing look. "Then we must journey through your imagination," the fox said softly, "to find the missing piece." Lumen led Niko through a breathtaking landscape where clouds morph into doorways.
Ho, ho, ho!
Each door, Lumen explained, led to a dream Niko had once had. He saw the dream where he flew on the back of a mighty dragon, the one where he explored a world made of candy, and another where he had a long conversation with talking trees. But as they walked, Niko noticed that some of the doors were dim and cracked, their light almost extinguished. "Why are those doors so dark?" he asked, a knot of concern tightening in his stomach.
Ho, ho, ho!
"Those," Lumen replied gently, "are the dreams you stopped believing in." At the very end of the path stood a colossal door, locked tight with heavy, shimmering chains. Carved into its ancient wood were the words, "The Dream of Courage." Lumen turned to him. "That's the one you need to open." Niko grabbed the chains and pulled with all his might, but they wouldn't budge. They felt as cold and unmoving as stone.
Ho, ho, ho!
He looked down at his hands in frustration and noticed they were glowing with a faint, soft light. Only true imagination can unlock that door, Lumen advised. Close your eyes, Niko, and remember what it feels like to believe. Niko shut his eyes tight. He thought of the fantastical stories he used to write, the colorful drawings he once made with such passion, and all the incredible dreams he had forgotten.
Ho, ho, ho!
He whispered, a declaration to himself as much as to the universe, I still believe. As he said the words, the glow from his hands intensified, twisting and shaping itself into a shining silver key. He placed it into the lock. Click. The heavy door swung open with a deep groan. But behind the door wasn't the peace he expected. It was chaos. A swirling storm of torn paper and broken toys raged within.
Ho, ho, ho!
And from the heart of the vortex, a shadowy figure emerged. It looked just like Niko, but its eyes glowed with a menacing red light. You gave up on your dreams. The shadow snarled. You let fear win. That's not true. Niko cried out, his voice trembling. Then prove it, the shadow challenged. The storm roared, its powerful winds pulling at Niko's arms. He nearly dropped the precious key, but then he remembered Lumen's words.
Ho, ho, ho!
Gathering all his strength, he shouted into the gale, I still believe in my dreams and I believe in me. He held the key high, and an explosion of pure, brilliant light erupted from it, dissolving the shadow instantly. The storm calmed. The chaotic winds softened into a gentle breeze. The skies cleared, and Niko felt something warm and bright fill his heart. It was courage. All around him, the dark, cracked doors burst open, releasing streams of vibrant color.
Ho, ho, ho!
Flying whales soared through the sky once more. Candy trees grew taller than ever before. Sparkling castles shimmered under a newfound light. Lumen smiled warmly. You found your courage, Niko. Now your dreams can live again. Thank you, Lumen, Niko said, his heart full of gratitude. Will I see you again? Whenever you close your eyes and believe, the fox answered. A soft wind lifted Niko, carrying him gently, lovingly back home.
Ho, ho, ho!
Niko opened his eyes to find golden sunlight streaming through his window. The dream machine sat quietly in the corner of the attic, its light slowly fading. He scrambled for his notebook and began to draw, his hands flying across the page, filling it with new dream worlds overflowing with color and joy. His mom peeked into the room. Good morning, dreamer, she said with a smile. Niko beamed back at her. Morning. You know what, Mom? I think I found my dreams again.
Ho, ho, ho!
That night, as he got ready for bed, Niko placed his journal beside the silent dream machine and whispered, Good night, Lumen. As he drifted off to sleep, the gears on the machine turned once more softly, rhythmically, like a heartbeat. And in the quiet distance, a familiar, glowing fox's voice whispered back, Sweet dreams, Niko. And from that day on, Niko never ran out of dreams again. Because he had learned that the real dream machine isn't made of brass and gears.
Ho, ho, ho!
It lives inside every dreamer's heart. Your imagination is the most powerful machine of all. Never stop dreaming, because the world needs the magic that only you can imagine. Thank you so much for joining us on this magical journey. If you enjoyed Niko's story, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that bell so you won't miss our next adventure. Sweet dreams, everyone.
Ho, ho, ho!